Okay, that's going to take I don't know, 15, 20 minutes of copying. So while that's away copying, we'll go ahead and start setting up the rest of the stuff we talked about, which was basically creating using the DSFile application to connect into these folders, so we can get access to these files when we're out on the road from a mobile device. So I was just checking the speed of the network there, and so what we're doing here is we're getting access to the quick connect connection, right? So, and we're checking the address to access this station anywhere. Now I'm going to blur this out, but basically you will be able to type that address into a web page and get access to your files from that web page with the login details you created before. But what I'm really interested in here is the Quick Connect ID, because we need that to configure the DSFile application on the mobile phone. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to double check the permissions for the applications, and we need to give that user account allow access on the file station permission. Then we're going to click OK on that. And that's done. Okay. So when I recorded this video, I said to download File Station onto your phone, but it's actually DSFile. I forgot what it was called. So ignore what is being typed there. It is DSFile, not File Station, that needs to be downloaded to the mobile phone. And you can get that from the Play Store. Just search for DSFile, and it's made by Synology. And same on the Apple iTunes Store, it's DSFile. So if you download that to your phone, you can see here, after you've installed the DSFile application, you open it up, you go into the settings, you type in the name that was in that Synology connection before, and the username that we created and the password, and then you click login. Okay, and now we've got, I'm in a total separate site when I'm doing this. So now we've got complete remote access to our files when we're off the network. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're logging back onto the Synology NAS that is inside our business network, so not the client's network, but our network. It just happens to be the same IP address as the one before, but I'm not logged onto a machine on their network anymore. And we're going to log on to our NAS, and we're going to configure the offsite backups. So to do that, basically we create a user and then a folder, and we give permissions to that user and folder. We give permissions to that folder with the user that we created, and then we jump back onto their Synology NAS, and we then configure with Hyper Backup on their NAS to back up to our Quick Connect ID. So here we're creating the user. I'm going to give the user a unique password, and then we're going to give that user access to the folder that we created. And So then we're given read-write permissions to the folder. And then we don't need to give it any other permissions. Now it's important if you're doing multiple backups for many different clients that you give a unique user for each client. Otherwise, if someone gets into their Synology as an admin, they'll be able to get access to other areas of your NAS, which is not what you want. So we just got to get our Quick Connect ID, because we'll need that later when we log back into the customer Synology NAS, and which we're going to do now. So we're going to jump onto their NAS. We'll bring up the we'll just quickly finish mapping these two network drives that this is a different PC now on their Synology network. So we're going to map these two network drives, and then we'll jump into their NAS and configure the backups. So this is exactly the same as what we did on the first machine before we started copying the data. We're just doing that again. And I pre-recorded this video, so here what I'm doing is I'm finding out the net BIOS name of the NAS, so I know what to type in for the authentication. So I type in the net BIOS name, backslash, and the username we created with the password we created. Click remember credentials. So I'll do that twice. Just got two drive mappings. And we'll go back and do it again. So IP address followed by the share name we created. And in a larger environment, you'd use a login script there. Oh, typed the wrong IP. Okay. So logging back into the customer Synology NAS. We're now going to go into the package center, and we need to download a backup product called Hyper Backup. That's a common one that we use. I've had great success with this application. Comes free with the Synology devices, but it lets you back up remotely to a NAS, back up to the cloud, or back up to another external hard drive. So we use this quite frequently. So we're going to put in our Quick Connect ID, which I showed you previously. This is the Quick Connect ID of the NAS that is inside our network, so not the customer's network. Actually, I'm putting in the IP address here, but we could have put the Quick Connect ID. So we've put in the public IP address of our network because we've got a static IP. But if you guys are backing up to a remote location without a static IP, use the Quick Connect ID. Okay, now this is the user account that I have created on the destination Synology device on our network. So not the customer's network, but our network. And then we choose the shared folder we created. And then we're going to choose the folders we want to back up. So we want to back up both those two shared folders. I'm going to click next there. we set a frequency when we want to back up. We give it a unique name. Now, what's important here is there should be a tick box for enabling encryption, and we tick that and set a password because we do not want traffic transferring across the internet, especially clients traffic, unencrypted. So basically what this does is it will encrypt the traffic, so it's all gobbledygook for if anyone intercepts it with a man-in-the-middle attack or anything like that. And so what we're doing here is we're just saying we're going to use smart scheduling for how many, or smart recycle for how many backups it needs to keep. We're going to keep 128 backups, which is a year's worth of backups for the client on our site. And it's only the bit level changes, so it's not going to keep 128 individual copies, but we'll be able to restore from 128 points. Okay, we're going to click backup now. And basically, yep, that's basically how you set up your remote backup. So click yes on that. And away you go.